Welcome to the City Show. Pat O'Melia here. You there? Well, I do the show because you're there. Before I get going, don't forget all the stuff on the screen. Subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram, and don't forget our main streaming channel on live stream Vimeo. That's where we archive all our shows. If you miss anything, you can see it again, and everything's there. If you want to go back and research it, it's all there. But please follow us. Trying to build up our social media presence. The city of Jersey City, on this week's council, they're going to be considering a few interesting things. Well, we'll start with the smallest of them. The city is considering passing an ordinance that would ban the fueling of ATVs, those little four-wheel all-terrain vehicles, kind of like a four-wheel motorcycle. They are causing havoc in many parts of the city. And the idea is you won't be able to go to a gas station and fuel them up. Well, you shouldn't be able to go to a gas station and fuel them up. Really, it comes down to a police issue. There's an ATV without a license plate, you should be able to pull that. Preventing and banning a gas station from fueling an ATV isn't going to work because there's a thing called a gas can, where anybody can go up to a gas pump as long as it's an approved gas can. You can fill it up, get 5 gallons. That will last an ATV quite a long time, 5 gallon. That's not the deal. What we need to require with these ATVs, and I'm going to throw the e-bikes in there, by the way, is a license, a registration, and an insurance card. And if you don't have those 3 items, the cops take your ATV. In the old days, when I was younger, there were mopeds. And you didn't have a license on that moped, the cop took your moped. Now, it's a little tougher with a 4-wheel ATV, but the Jersey City Police have lots of pickup trucks also, and vans, so they can handle that. So that's what you need to do there. All right, we're going to break for commercial. We'll be right back.
Jersey City Medical Center is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County because your heart doesn't beat just for you. So get it checked. When your bones are healthy, it lifts us all. We're delivering joy daily in our Lord Abbott Maternity Wing and providing New Jersey's only NCI-designated comprehensive cancer center. We'll continue building our medical network and taking every precaution for your safety so that we can all be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
If you need to see a doctor, RWJ Barnabas Health has 2 easy ways to do it from anywhere. You can see an urgent care provider 24/7 on any device with our Telemed app. Or use our website to book a virtual visit with an RWJ Barnabas Health Medical Group provider or specialist, even as a new patient. You've taken every precaution, and so have we. So don't delay your care any longer. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
We're back. You're watching The City Show. Outlawing those ATVs from getting fuel at the gas station? You forget there's gas cans. What we're going to talk about today is RTC, the right to counsel that the city is considering. I doubt if it's happening on this week's council meeting because there's a lot of addendums to this and addendums that are going on. I'm not in favor of this in any shape or form. It really has to be refined. We're also going to talk about the council in Jersey City possibly giving themselves a 29% raise. Not too shabby, is it? And we really need a cannabis board, a whole cannabis situation overhaul here. And we'll get into that. Hopefully I get into everything here today. But let's start with the RTC. The city is considering an RTC, what that is right to counsel for evictions. If you go to an eviction court, and there's a big backlog on that from the COVID, by the way, supposedly 80 some odd percent of the tenants aren't represented by legal counsel. There's probably a reason for that, because like 90%, I'm being told, of the eviction cases are for non-payment of rent. So if you didn't pay your rent, chances are you're not going to be able to afford to pay an attorney also. So what the city is proposing to do, and Mayor Fulop is on board with this, along with Councilman James Solomon, Frank Gilmore, and Yusuf Saleh. They're all pushing this, but there's got to be a lot of refinements. What they're going to do, they're going to put a 1.5% on all development in Jersey City. 80% of the money generated from that 1.5% will go into the Affordable Trust Fund. 20% will go to the legal services for the RTC. A whole nother division will be created in Jersey City, a whole nother department for this. That 1.5% is on everything. The rhetoric that you're hearing is those developers. We're going to make the developers pay their share. They're making too much money. They're making too much money on the rent. Well, they're in the friggin' business to make money on the rent. That's why they build these high rises. But the problem is that 1.5% is on all development, not just the major development. If you're buying a 1 or 2 family home in Jersey City, right now, one of those new construction deals, probably about $800,000. That 1.5% is on there. So that turns out to $12,000 on you. That mom and pop, that young couple starting out who broke their butt to save the money for a down payment, struggled working 2 jobs, maybe in some cases 3 jobs, to come up with the money to do this. The city's going to hit you with a $12,000 fee. So they can pay for people who didn't pay their rent in court. They can have legal representation. And all the rhetoric and the press releases, those developers, no, it's everybody. So when you see a new house going up, it's going to get that 1.5%. I wonder if you see those homes where they always like leave one wall there and they build back, you're going to see a lot of that, because that wouldn't be considered new development. Where you see that one of those original walls is still there, and then they built out from there. That's a lot of money, $12,000. When you're struggling for the down payment and closing fees, that's a lot of money. The RTC would be available to renters who are at 80% of the minimum income in that particular region of Jersey City. And it's really a tale of 2 cities, because right now, in the zip code for 07302, the average income there, household income, is $150,000. You go into 07306, $66,000. And it would be 80% of the average household medium income. That changes tremendously when you get out of downtown. And it's capped as it stands right now, as I understand it, at $48,000 a year. If you're making $48,000 or less, you'll be entitled to the RTC. The Hudson County Democratic Socialists of America is pushing for everybody to be entitled to this. If you're making $150,000 a year, you can pay for your own lawyer. Problem is that 80% of that would be the average. So in the Heights, 07307, if you're making $55,200, that would be the 80%. But again, goes back to that 48% cap number. So that has to be massaged, and that's what they're talking about now. This, I don't care how you look at it, this is a shot at mom and pop. This isn't, Matt Calley and the rest of the huge developers on the waterfront. This is mom and pop. Like I said, 90% of the evictions in the courts are for non-payment. The other 10%, I understand, is like people don't want to leave after their lease expired, and some other other issues there. Somebody's got a family member who wants to move into the house, and there's a tenant there, that sort of thing. If you give people who didn't pay their rent, now listen, there are people that game the system. Legal representation that'll stall it for another 2 or 3, 4 months. You might have a landlord right now out 3 or 4 months rent. I'll say 3. You're going to tag another 3 or 4 months on, and then those people eventually get out of there. That homeowner who has been struggling to make their friggin' mortgage payment and pay their taxes to the city of Jersey City, we just had a record amount of tax lien sales in Jersey City in the Jersey Journal. And we're going to give people who didn't pay their rent legal representation so they can dance around a little longer. I'm just looking at the people who are gaming this system, and that's what's going to happen. And everybody is going to have to pay for this. How do you get around that? And I'm going to touch on that when we come back. Again, I'm just figuring out, how people work to game the system. People are going to have to protect themselves from being gamed. We're going to break for commercial. You're watching The City Show. I'll be right back.
I've got cancer.
We've got the highest level of cancer care,
the latest clinical trials,
researchers working to find a cure,
and nurse navigators to guide you every step of the way.
At New Jersey's only NCI-designated Comprehensive Cancer Center, your safety has always been our top priority.
I've got cancer, but I also have peace of mind.
Jersey City Medical Center and Rutgers Cancer Institute of New Jersey. Let's beat cancer together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights. Your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments. Carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Jersey City Ford, certified parts and service located at Route 440 and Communipaw Ave, is your #1 source for Ford and Lincoln automotive needs. We use certified Ford Motorcraft products to keep your Ford running in top shape. Motorcraft parts are backed with the Ford warranty, which includes a 2-year unlimited mileage guarantee. Our team will have the right Motorcraft part to ensure the best performance from your Ford or Lincoln. You can order in person at the parts counter or online. Let us help keep your Ford or Lincoln in the best shape at Stevens Jersey City Ford.
We're back. Pat O'Melia here. We're talking about the RTC, right to counsel in Jersey City. What's going to happen if this passes, it's going to be harder for people to get an apartment in Jersey City. It'll make it very difficult. When you're filling out an application, everybody fills out the application, not the old days where you knocked on the door, can I see the apartment? You got the apartment. No, it's the application. They're going to do all this research on you. When you fill out that app, and that landlord's probably taking quite a few apps for that matter. There's a fee for some of these apps. And some landlords make a pretty good buck charging like $50, $75 for apps. You're gonna list your income and your history and your credit references and your social security number so they can do a credit score. That landlord is going to do their due diligence knowing damn well that RTC is there. And if there is a problem with that tenant because of that RTC, that might cost them another 2 or 3 months' rent. So they're going to make sure you're making far more than that 80%. Where a landlord, you may like the person, I'll take their garbage out, I can do some little handiwork around the house, whatever the case is, whatever endears a tenant to a landlord, they're not going to go for that anymore. It's going to come down to dollars and cents. Where you take in the Heights, what I say the Heights was $55,000 a year approximately. And again, the cap's at 48. You're going to make sure you're renting that to somebody who's making a household income around 80 to 90,000 to stay out of that situation. So you pass this RTC, there's going to be problems. I've asked the mayor of Toms River, they have an RTC in effect there, to send me a copy. I'd like to see how they do it. Next up, the city of Jersey City. Our council is considering a 29% increase for all the seated council members, all 9. Now, I guess I'm not against the raise. It's pretty steep, but 29%. I don't know of any other job where you get a 29% raise or any other job where you can give yourself a 29% raise. Some of the arguments, some of the pretty interesting arguments that some of the aides, because we just raised their salaries recently, are going to be making more than the actual council people are. I guess that's possible. Kind of like a George Costanza thing there where he gave his office help a raise, and the raise was more than George Costanza was making. He was working for the Yankees at that time. Here's the thing with the council people. I don't want to sound like I'm against them getting a good rate of pay. They knew what the pay was when they ran for office. And in some of these cases, this is the 3rd time they've run for office. So they knew what the pay was. And one of the arguments is, well, there's more residents in Jersey City now than there was before, so there's more work to be done. That's possibly true. Actually, our population was larger back in, I think, the 60s, 50s, 60s, and the 70s than it is now. But that's probably true. But that argument mainly only affects the ward council people. If you're lucky to have one of those cushy at-large council jobs, you're okay. Because probably the two toughest jobs in the city of Jersey City is mayor and ward council. Those are the jobs I really believe take a tremendous amount of time. Now, I know the mayor does, Mayor Fulop. I've been covering the mayor since Schundler. Those guys are constantly on the run. And it's very difficult, especially with Fulop now with two young children. This guy wants to be home at around 6, 7 o'clock at night. It's a very difficult job, being ward council and mayor. When you're walking down the street as ward council, people are going to stop you immediately. You're going to get phone calls constantly. So I appreciate the work the ward councils do. Then council at large, that's pretty cushy job there. But all that said and done, the council reps, to get this 29%, because again, the argument is the job is 24/7, 365 now. There's so many more people in the city of Jersey City. Then if you have a full-time job besides your council position, then you can't have a full-time job. If we're giving you a 29% raise, the residents of Jersey City, the taxpayers and the renters of Jersey City, then you can't have another full-time job. If you're saying there's so much work to be done, it's 24/7, 365, there's so many more residents, we need more money to do this job, I'll agree with you. But not if you have another full-time job. Maybe that's one of the things we have to consider. If a council member already has a full-time job, we're not going to give you a full-time salary to be a council person. Now, you give up that full-time job, it's fine. I think, if I'm not mistaken, every council member, with the exception of Ward C Councilman Richie Borgiano, who's a retired police officer, all have full-time jobs. So the argument that we're doing so much work, it's 24/7, 365, doesn't really hold a lot of water when you consider they all have full-time jobs. It is probably best that we phase this in, maybe hold the bulk of it off till the next election cycle where we have a new council seated, or at least another council being sworn in, so it isn't the appearance that you're giving yourself and you have the power to do it. I'm not sure. I think Mayor Fuller can probably veto it, but then the city council can override his veto. So you have the power to give yourself a nice raise here. Maybe that's something we should push into the future. But let's break for commercial. You're watching The City Show. I'll be right back.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Jersey City Medical Center has a passion for heart health. We're Hudson County's only full-service heart hospital, with innovative technologies and premier cardiovascular physicians, a partnership with Rutgers Health, the latest technology and medical advancements, and nationally renowned care for every heart in every community. Whoever your heart beats for, our hearts beat for you. Jersey City Medical Center.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Jersey City Medical Center is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County because your heart doesn't beat just for you. So get it checked. When your bones are healthy, it lifts us all. We're delivering joy daily in our Lord Abbott Maternity Wing and providing New Jersey's only NCI-designated comprehensive cancer center. We'll continue building our medical network and taking every precaution for your safety so that we can all be healthy together.
We're back. Pat O'Melia here. City Show, you there? We're talking about the council giving themselves a 29% increase. I would like a 29% increase. That would be pretty good. Again, I like all the council people. I've known most of them for years and years. You know, Richie and I go back 30 years when we were civic warriors. Amy DeGeese I've known since she was a kid. You know, Denise, before she became a councilwoman, she was running for council. Same thing with Mira. Danny, I've known Danny now for, I guess, about 10 years. So I've been dealing with these guys. James Solomon, same thing. I've been dealing with these guys guys and gals for a long time. I think you probably should phase it in or maybe even delay it until the next swearing in. But I want to keep in mind one other thing about adding expenses onto a very expensive city now where the property taxes are high. It's one of the reasons we have the highest rents in the nation. Either we're 1 and 2 with Hoboken. And if it is true that the rumors you're hearing that the city of Jersey City is about $100 million in the budget hole as it stands now, and I don't know where we're getting any magic $100 million coming up. And keep in mind that we have a city school system, the Jersey City Board of Ed, that has blown past the $1 billion budget mark. And it would have been worse, but they had $89 million, I think it was, from COVID money for this year. And the governor gave another $33 million this year. Next year, you're not going to have that COVID money. And who knows if Governor Murphy is going to be so generous to send another $33 million to Jersey City. A lot of that's happened with Ben Coppell in Monmouth County who pushed for that. We may be looking at some serious problems in a very short span of time between the city budget and the school system budget. It may not be the opportune time to give a 29% increase in pay. And listen, it is a tough job being a council person. I'm joking about the at-larges. They do their job too, but there is no job harder than the mayor and the ward council. But it's something to consider. Looking down the road, when that road isn't too far down, that the city budget and the school system budget, it could be an interesting situation here in a very short span of time in Jersey City. Cannabis. The cannabis board and everything to do with cannabis, the weed shops. We had to sit back and say, all right, hold off, full stop, as Governor Murphy would say. We have to relook at this now. There's a lawsuit. There's a few of them, as I understand it, but there's one going against the city right now concerning awarding another weed shop within 600 feet of an existing, already approved weed shop. And the idea, as I understand it, was supposed to all be 600 feet away. I don't know how you make that mistake to award another weed shop within the 600 feet. We're all in Jersey City. We can go look at the addresses, have somebody physically go out there with a tape measure, or you can Google it. And Google will tell you put the addresses in, they'll tell you the distance. They awarded another one. And the weed shop that's suing said, well, we have no problem with competition, but we don't want them this close to us. And part of the ruling is, the deal is, you're supposed to be more than 600 feet away. Add that to the ridiculous amount of weed shops that are being approved for Central Avenue. I live in the Heights. there's going to be like 8 of them on Central Avenue alone. And not the whole length of Central Avenue, not from like, where we extended it by the courthouse on Newark Avenue all the way to Union City. No. We had these all concentrated between Griffith Street and Congress Street. 8 of them there. They're in the process. We need to, again, as I said in the previous show, we need to prevent these entrepreneurs from hurting themselves. We need to protect them from themselves. Somebody in business is going to do everything they can to be in business. We got to try to protect the beneficiaries of these weed stores, the various social groups, civic organizations, not-for-profits, who are supposed to get a percentage of the profit. If you have such a deluge of weed shops, they're not all going to be successful. And there's 8 on Central, and they just approved 2 blocks off Central on Congress Street going towards Patterson Plank Road. We need to sit there, and you can't have so many parts of the city involved. There has to be one bureau. Excuse me. Maybe on the cannabis board, we have representatives from the planning board, zoning, all the parts of the city that you have to jump through these hoops to get your weed shop approval. They should all be on the cannabis review board. One-stop shopping, but representatives from all parts of the city that have a hand in this. Don't have the cannabis board approve this, and then the zoning board, and then the planning board, all that. Have them all in one-stop shopping. Try to get as much government out of this as possible, but have an idea that what each one of these departments are doing, they're aware of what's going on with the other departments. Or you wouldn't have had 2 stores permitted within 600 feet. Because really it's a case of that hand doesn't know what this hand's doing. So I suggest we reconstitute the Cannabis Review Board with a goal of having one board that's going through the approvals. And we have representatives from all the various departments of the city that are going to be involved in it. Simple as that. All right, we're out of show. You be good. You be safe. I'll talk to you during the week. Good night.